you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Chris Williams, we are happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank
you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Dr. Beatrice, we are happy to meet with you as well.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Nice to meet you. Yes, I can see Professor Rosemary Egomo. Prof, you're welcome, ma.
Where is the prof? I haven't seen her.
I've just seen. She's muted. She muted herself. Prof, unmute so that we can hear you.
Let me tell her. She's my now is not number.
Okay. I'm also happy to see Mrs. Oluwatoyosi Abudering. Please, can you put on your video, ma?
Okay, ma.
Good to see you. You're welcome,
Good to
ma.
see you, ma. Thank you.
Welcome,
Good afternoon.
welcome to
Thank you. Thank you.
Webinar.
We have other panelists. We have Dr. Margaret. Dr. Margaret Ilomanyama, you're welcome.
Is she there?
You meet, yeah.
Kemabonta raised her hand, though. Dr. Kemabonta raised her hand.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Laribe.
You're welcome, ma. Housekeepers, you are all welcome. I think we are complete. We have less than 8 minutes to start. And as of now, we have 210 participants waiting to hear our voices. And we intend to have a very good webinar. Dr. Swalama, are you ready to roll out?
No, not yet. Dr. Kemabonta said she was not put in as a panelist.
I'm here.
Dr. Swala. Where did you get your gist?
Her name is not, unless my own is showing something else. Her name is not showing here. Because she said she has been calling and talking, but nobody hears what she's saying.
Have you resent the email? Let's invite her as a panelist so that we can go.
This thing, I sent it to you, Dr. Alaribe.
Hello, ma'am. Please, if you can hear me, I resent you the panelist link. What I suspect is happening is that she registered and she's using that registration link, but she needs to look out for an email I sent not too long ago. That's the one she should click on.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
And we are seeing two Professor Ego here. Why?
Maybe I'm the next one. I'm the second one.
Your own day. You are Professor Joy Okuzo. Your own is here.
Okay.
Okay. Dr. Fidelia, please, can you share the program with the panel? Dr. Fidelia, ma,
I can hear you.
Please, can you share the...
Okay.
We have not seen Professor Olubukola Babalola from South Africa. Let me give her a call. Dr. Felicia Ejia is not here yet. Dr. Desalu. Who is reaching out to Dr. Felicia? Hello, Prof. Ma, we're waiting for you.
Let me call Felicia.
Oh, Prof, no, we're waiting for you at the panelist. At least you greet us, ma. Thank you, ma. Okay. Who else? Prof. Bosedema, Prof. Folabi, we have questions already, and are you hoping to stay with us till the end of the program, ma?
No, I'm sorry. I did tell you that I have constraints and I won't be able to stay till the end.
Okay, ma.
So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to?
You take some questions.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, before you leave. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Laribe, have you already sent those questions to her, or will I be required to read them out?
I think I sent one, but you'll be required to read out to her.
I'll read the remaining out. Okay, that's
no,
fine.
No, all the three.
Yeah, I'll read all of them out. Okay,
yes.
That's fine.
Yes, thank you very much. It's my pleasure to welcome Professor Lubukola Babalola, OWSD Regional Vice President. Prof. Ma, you're welcome. Hello, Ma. I can hear you, Ma. We're waiting for you. Hello, Ma. I can't really hear you, Ma. We're waiting for you, Ma. I can't really hear you. We're waiting for you.
Hello?
Yes, Prof, we can see you. Welcome, Ma.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't unmute. So greetings to everyone. Thank you, Dr. Joy Okuzo. Welcome to Dr. Fidelia. Also, Dr. Williams, we appreciate you. And thank you, my dear sister Alaribe. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Ma.
Welcome,
We're
Prof.
excited to have you, Prof.
Welcome,
Yes, ma.
We're happy you're here.
Yes, ma.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Fidelia, I think we are good to go. Please take.
So should I start?
We just have 1 minute.
Should I start?
We have a minute to go. Tony, is it on now? The YouTube screening, live streaming, is it on now?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. You can go on it.
Okay. Dr. Fidelia, roll out, ma. Dr. Fidelia.
Can you hear her?
Yes.
Please start.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
You are all welcome to the webinar organized by OWSD, Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World, Lagos branch, domiciled in the University of Lagos, titled "The Women's Nightmare: Overcoming Menopausal Symptoms." My name is Dr. Swala Fidelia. I'll be anchoring this program with Dr. Stephanie Alaribe. The webinar will expose to us the issues surrounding menopause, which is a threat to women and is unavoidable. We're going to have ideas on how to manage these symptoms, nutritionally, and otherwise. So without wasting time, I'd like to call on Dr. Stephanie Alaribe. She will anchor the program completely with other moderators that will be working side by side with her. So I wish you happy listening. Over to you, Dr. Alaribe.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fidelia Oswala. Is an opportunity to moderate this webinar, and it's indeed my pleasure to do so. So we proceed with a prayer, and we would like to introduce Dr. Toyin Oweyemi. Dr. Oweyemi is a senior lecturer at the Department of Science and Technology, Faculty of Education, and she'll be leading us in an opening prayer. Dr. Toyima, you have the floor.
Thank you, our wonderful moderator. Shall we pray, please? Father, we thank you for this day, the days you have made for us to be more informed and reassured that women have no cause to be worried about menopause. Thank you for the highly resourceful guest speakers you have prepared for us to be more enlightened and be free from this nightmare. We commit the whole program onto your able hands, Lord. You will make it a huge success in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
At the end of this program, we are going to look back and say, thank you, Jesus, for great and mighty things you will do in our lives in Jesus' name. In
Amen.
Jesus' mighty name, we are prayed.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Toyin Oweyemi. Thank you for that prayer. I welcome you all, and that grace of she has prayed is going to be an interesting webinar. I want to especially recognize the presence of the presence of Vice President OWSD African region in the person of Professor Bukola Oluronsi Alola, the Incumbent Director of the Food Security and Safety Niche Area at Northwest University Business School in South Africa. Prof. Ma, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ma. Greetings to every one of us on the platform and all the participants. We are going to have a good time today discussing issues that are pertinent to us. And I just want to say a very big thank you on behalf of the organization to all our guest speakers and all the powerful women there that have put this program together. You are loved and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. We are always excited to have you in our midst. At this point, I make welcome our distinguished panelists, seasoned speakers, and we have already here with us, we have Professor Bosede Afolabi, Professor of Gynecologist and Obstetrician in College of Medicine, LUT, Lagos. We have Professor Rosemary Egonwa, Professor of Zoology at the University of Lagos. We also have here with us Dr. Chris Isioma Williams, a popular host of Family Health on TV show. You're welcome. We also have with us Dr. Beatrice Ogana Ikojiono, a lecturer at the Adeniro Ogunsanya College of Education. We also have here with us Mrs. Oluwatoyosi Aboderin, MD, Bainik Kino Farms here in Lagos. You are all welcome. We really appreciate your presence and your time for this discussion. Thank you. Thank you. I also want to recognize the presence. I want to recognize all professors here with us. We have Professor Joy Uzo, she will be properly introduced later. We have over 210 participants joining us streaming, both in this Zoom and UWSD Lagos live streaming. We are really happy to have you with us. I just want to mention a few housekeeping rules. But before then, I also want to salute the executive member of this branch, of Lagos branch. I want to salute all members, OWSD Lagos branch members. Yeah, thank you so much for your sisterhood. Just to mention a few housekeeping rules, I want to let us know that this webinar is streaming live on the OWSD Lagos YouTube. So please connect to that in case you are not able to connect to Zoom. And we also want you to put your full names and affiliations for proper recognition. And we also want you to drop your question on the queue box, the question box, so that we don't mix it up with the chat box. And in due course, we'll be asking you to put on your camera. So we'd like you to dress the way you want us to take a snapshot. Yes, these are the few housekeeping rules. Now it's time to tell us who we are. And to take this is a great scholar and the secretary of the executive arm of OWSD Lagos branch. Permit me to welcome, to let us know who we are, Dr. Bose Adesalu, Associate Professor of Zoology. Dr. Adesaluma, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Good
Thank
afternoon.
you very much. You're welcome, ma.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Larry Bay. I'm actually in botany, but I don't mind crossing to zoology.
I have so many zoologists around me. In fact, everything around me is spelling zoology, zoology.
Thank you for that. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
As you are all welcome to this webinar series. Is one of those ones that we have done according to the role that have been given. Who we have, OWSD Lagos branch is a branch of OWSD Nigeria. As we all know, OWSD is the international organization. It has its regional, in which we fall into the Africa part of it. Okay, you have stopped my video, so let me continue. So because we fall in the regional, which is the Africa. Okay, let me start the video now. Thank you so much, the host. Now, having said that, like Dr. Larry Bay has said, we started this years back with some of us that act as an interim executive members, and then we have these executive members that will put things together. But I want to say here that it's not done by executive members only. We have members of our organization, Lagos branch, that have gone out of their comfort zone to make things happen. And over the years, we've done series of symposium and discourse like this. In October 2018, we had a symposium on the role of women in STEM and the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, which was well attended. We also had recently, due to COVID, we have the Girls Program in conjunction with Lagos State Government, which was justly concluded and was really things to discuss about. Not quite long, we had a webinar on the mental health, because we all agree with me the effect of COVID on each and individual's mental stability. That also was an eye-opener onto how to manage the new normal that we all find ourselves now. Having said that, now today, we are moving on. If you look at the trend of the symposium or discussion that we had in the past, we realize that we focus more on girls' child. And today, we're saying that OWSD is not only for young girls, it's also for people in the middle age and those that have passed through this age. So I want to thank the LOC for the job well done on this topic, a woman's nightmare, overcoming menopause symptoms. I also want to say that Lagos branch is made up of Professor Joy Okuzo, who happens to be our amiable president. That's our president. Thank you, ma. We have the vice president in person of Dr. O.E. Ademilua. Dr. O.E. Ademilua is the Department of Botany. Professor Joy Okuzo is from the Department of Cell Biology and Genetics. We have our General Secretary, my humble self, Abosede Adesalu, Department of Botany. Our Assistant General Secretary in person of Dr. Fidelia Usuala, one of the LOC, and actually the chairman of the LOC that put this program together. We have our treasurer in person of Dr. Khadija Abdulwahab. She is in the Department of Chemistry. Then we have our PRO in person of Dr. A.O. Lawalare, the Department of Marine Sciences. Then our Assistant Publicity Secretary in person of Mrs. K.O. Bayo, Kuforola Bayo. Those are the list of the executives that we have. And will the many members of OWSD Lagos branch will put this together, and we hope that you enjoy it. Thank you very much, and I wish you a compliment of the season. Thank you.
Many, many thanks, Dr. Desalu, for this enlightenment. Thank you very much. I'm sure people who are in Lagos would like to join us, having made this information available to us. Thank you very much. At this point, because we need to really move fast so that we will have the reason why we are here, we make welcome for her opening speech an erudite scholar, great achiever, the one who has been overseeing the affairs of WSD Lagos branch in the person of Professor Joy Okuzo. Prof. Ma, your opening speech, you have the floor. The coordinator. Yes, Prof.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of WSD Lagos branch, I welcome our panelists and participants to today's, which is the last in the series of our webinars to conclude the year 2020, a year none of us would forget in a hurry. The topic for today's webinar is titled A Woman's Nightmare, Overcoming Menopause Symptoms. Menopause is a biological process women must experience as they go through life. I believe young women approaching this landmark would gladly want to know what to expect. We refer to it as a nightmare because women actually don't look forward to it, though they know menopause must strike someday. I experienced mine 11 years ago, trying to the best I could as a biologist to mitigate the impact of menopause symptoms. It is heartwarming to know that these days, due to employment of social media, a lot of information is in the public space to help women in this age bracket. However, to discuss the topic for today, are seasoned experts who will do justice to it, so I'm not going to preempt them. And we also have in the house personal experience from older women. So please relax and capture the best information from the experts and from personal experience. Thank you all and happy listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Joy Okuzo, Professor Joy Okuzo. We are very grateful for that opening speech. We want to, why this talk? Why menopause? We have an initiator of this particular discussion in the person of Dr. Kainde Kema Bonta, and would like to welcome her to really tell us why we have this topic. Dr. Kema Bonta, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm with us. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Our wonderful and erudite scholar, the Vice President of OWSD. It's nice seeing you, our coordinator, the guest speakers, and all members of the panel. We welcome you all to this meeting. Really, just as Dr. Adesalu said, we just felt, why don't we talk something about ourselves? I remember the first day I had this
this all these signs of menopause. I just was seeing round and round, and I was rushed to the hospital. And I expected to be given injection, to be given many things. And the doctor just gave me some. He said, if I'm having headache, I should take this, and the dizziness gave me this, and that's all. So 2 days later, I went to him, sir, what are you saying now? He said, well, when you are ready to go home, we are ready to release you. You don't mean it. Are you saying I'm not sick? He said, well, madam, it's just how you just have to learn how to cope with it. I said, what? Then he now told me, you are now getting to a certain age. And that was it. So it's good some of us know what it is, because some of us even think maybe it's some demon somewhere, it's some forces somewhere, it's some witches somewhere, it's maybe we didn't sleep well, or one thing or the other. Yes, we've read it. You can read and read theory, but when it's practical, it becomes a big thing. So to some of us, it may be something new, to some we're already there, and some of us may need to advise maybe some others on this, maybe you just realize this person is having this issue, or I heard about this, so why don't you try to check? Maybe it's one of the signs of menopause. So that's the essence of this meeting. And I believe as many of us as are here, we appreciate you. And I believe it will be a time that is really worth it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Over to you, dear sister.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kainde Kemabonta, the initiator of this webinar, for really opening our eyes, the reason why we need to discuss this. Many thanks, ma. Many thanks. Now it's time for the reason why we are here. And I will be giving way to welcome another great scholar, Dr. Margaret Ilumuanya, a senior lecturer at the Faculty of Pharmacy, College of Medicine Campus, Idiaraba, and a pharmacist to anchor this session. Dr. Margaret Ilumuanya, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alaribe. It's a wonderful pleasure to be here. I want to welcome all the participants. At this point, I would like to introduce somebody that is very close to us at the College of Medicine. I have met her at different times during the Brains seminar series. I would like to introduce Professor Abosede Afolabi. She's a professor of obstetrics and gynecology trained here in Nigeria and in the United Kingdom. She's also the coordinator of the Obstetrics and Gynecology Medicine, University of Lagos. She's a medicine expert, a lead and co-investigator of several research grants, including a recently approved BMGF grant on intravenous iron for anemia in pregnancy. She was a fellow of the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, and in the UK, and the Nigerian postgraduate colleges, the West African College of Surgeons, and the Nigerian Postgraduate Medical College. Professor Afolabi has featured on CNN African Voices for her works in sickle cell pregnancy and maternal health, possessing a certificate in epidemiology and biostatistics from Harvard School of Public Health, Boston, USA. She is a mentor. And I am saying that because I know a few people that she's mentored, and I have seen her in action. She's mentored over 20 young obstetricians and gynecologists from medical schools, medical students, and a lot of her mentees now are consultants, with over 8 of them in academic positions. Professor Afolabi sits on the board of several hospitals, is a PhD examiner at Pan-African University Institute of Life and Health Sciences, and she's an assistant editor of the Journal of West African College of Surgeons. So I present to us Professor Afolabi.
Thank you very much for that kind introduction. There was a bit of a lag. I don't know if it was my internet. Sometimes it's difficult to know which one it is, but I will go straight into it so that I don't delay the time some more. But I just want to say that I'm quite honored to have been invited to speak at this gathering of very, very prominent and important women and faculty. I'm going to start talking about menopause from a clinical perspective, because that is where I tend to deal with it. I also have personal experience with it, but in terms of the clinical, this is what I will speak to today. Thank you for inviting me. So to start, I'm going to just share one or two comments that patients have spoken to in the past. So I've had maybe a woman, average of about 50 years and 3 months old. She comes to me telling me that she's sweating profusely. She tends to have these heat waves where, when she's in a warm place or in the middle of the night, the heat just rises up in her face and in her upper body. She's drenched in sweat so often. She bites people's heads off. She can't sleep. Another one comes and says she's actually fine. She doesn't have all these hot flushes you're talking about, but she just knows that she doesn't want to have sex anymore generally. Her libido is low. And when it's not low, the few times that she actually feels like having it, the vagina is dry and she's not enjoying sex. And her husband tends to complain and talk about this, and they're having to discuss it a number of times. You also have the issue where a woman tells you she's been snapping at her children or her members of staff more than usual. She's also finding it difficult to sleep. Some people have it from the period point of view. They suddenly started having periods again. On occasion, somebody has even had a hysterectomy and she's having periods again, so she's worried. That's another type of symptom, not necessarily menopause related. Then some people are still having periods, even though they're supposed to be menopausal, and they're heavy. So these are some of the complaints, some of the issues people have. And I'll just switch from there to start telling you to go on to the main topic of the lecture. So what is menopause? What's the actual definition of menopause? Menopause is the final menstrual period. Menopause is the final menstrual period. And how do you confirm it? Because sometimes if you have periods now and then you don't have periods again for the next 3 months, can you really say it's menopause? You don't know. You can only know for sure that you have entered full menopause after 1 year of no menstrual bleeding. That is when you say, okay, yes, you are menopausal. You have to have had a full 12 months of no menstrual bleeding before you can say you're menopausal. And it really is when you have the permanent cessation of menses resulting from a loss of ovarian function. And I'm putting this image here because I just wanted to show us the ovary again. And when this ovary stops functioning, is not producing follicles, that is eggs any longer, usually as a result of aging process, then that is menopause. That's the most common cause of menopause. Now, when does it occur? The natural average age, and I have to emphasize this, average age is about 51 years old. Sometimes though, you can have people having menopause from earlier than that, even in their mid 40s or even early 40s. We call when it's early 40s, we say that the person is having early menopause. Sometimes maybe prematurely from medical intervention. We gynecologists also are the ones that sometimes will have to remove your ovaries for some reason or the other. Maybe at the same time as we are removing your uterus when you've had a lot of heavy bleeding due to fibroids, or even sometimes when you don't have fibroids. Or sometimes it may be due to chemotherapy for cancer treatment. And sometimes it can be at any time, maybe you've had other surgery to not remove the womb, but we've tampered with the ovaries in some way. And that is when you can have menopause from medical intervention. So it can be natural, average age 51, although sometimes earlier, and others even later than the 51. And it could also be from medical intervention. We call it premature menopause when you have menopause before the age of 40. And some people do have this for some other reasons that is beyond the scope of this lecture. What are the classic symptoms and signs? And I'll speak to this so that when we are talking about treatment too, you can know what I'm talking about. The classic symptoms of menopause, the first one is a change in menstrual cycle pattern, where you have the menses, and I'll speak about that a bit more later, changing, either because the person is having an early cycle or a late cycle, or they're having a change in the bleeding. Then vasomotor symptoms. Vasomotor symptoms refer to the hot flushes, the classic hot flushes, as well as the night sweat. So some people may not feel these hot flushes that much, and it's the sweating that is the main problem for them. Sometimes the sweating is not at night. I have to emphasize that some people sweat a lot during the day. I've had patients come to me that they're just always dripping with sweat, and that is their own main symptom. That is also vasomotor symptom.
Sleep, mama, sleep.
Then the vulvovaginal symptoms, that is when the vagina gets a bit dry, and dyspareunia referring to painful sexual intercourse, also usually because of the vulvovaginal symptoms. There are other associated symptoms which sometimes may not be because of menopause per se, and other times is also definitely regarding due to the menopause. So other associated symptoms are things like sleep disturbances, which may just happen even if it's not because of night sweats, but just sleep disturbances anyway. Then some people have memory issues, concentration issues, not always necessarily due to the menopause, but are associated. And then also the depression, the moodiness, the irritability, and the anxiety are also sometimes things that sometimes occur. And I'll speak to this as I go along. So regarding the menstrual bleeding changes, you could have lighter bleeding, you could have heavier bleeding. Sometimes you could bleed for longer than you normally do. So some people have a 5-day cycle that becomes a 7-day cycle. Some people have a 3-day cycle that becomes a 2-day cycle. The cycle length, that is the period between the first day of one cycle and the first day of the next cycle, sometimes becomes longer or sometimes becomes shorter. So for example, if my period started, usually comes maybe the 20th of every month, or 20th to 21st of every month, and then the next, as menopause starts setting in, my next period is now starting within 24 days instead of 30 days. Sometimes you can have that, and sometimes it may be longer. Then skipped menstrual periods may skip about 2 or 3, and then another one comes. So those are some of the ways that menstrual bleeding changes happen. But one thing that is important is to note that if you have more frequent periods or periods lasting longer than 7-8 days, it's important to still check it out and don't say it's because of menopause. Basically, when you are worried about something, it's best to have it checked out than to say, oh, it must be the menopause, let's leave it, because more frequent periods or heavier periods sometimes can mean something sinister. The only one that you can say, let me relax for, is if it's lighter bleeding or if the periods are spaced out. As long as you're not trying to have children, once your periods are spaced out, that you're not having it every month, you're having it for longer intervals, then that's not a major problem that you have to really worry about. Now, the vasomotor symptoms, like I said earlier, the vasomotor symptoms include the hot flushes as well as the sweating. And what they are recurrent, usually not lasting long episodes of flushing, accompanied by a sensation of warmth. You have this sensation of warmth that comes up into your face and upper body, usually. And oftentimes it occurs more when you enter a warm place. For me, when I enter the car when it's been very hot, or when I drink tea when there's no AC on or something, that is when I tend to have my hot flushes. So hot flushes come on more frequently when you enter a warm place or you drink something warm. But it can happen anytime for some people. But the basic way of knowing it is that your body temperature seems to rise. You just feel heat coming up into your face and upper body more commonly. The treatments, I'll talk about the treatment of everything later, but it's usually based on how severe your symptoms are, what your risk factors for certain things are, and also what your attitudes about this menopause issue is. If you are not aware, and I've noticed that in a lot of people, that when they don't know about it and all of a sudden it starts happening, those are the people that are hit more. For someone like me who totally knows what it's all about, I know it doesn't mean that it's less distressing, but I expect it. And so I know more how to deal with it. So knowledge is key. And that's part of one of the reasons why I think this webinar that is organized is very, very important. For the vaginal symptoms, symptoms such as vaginal dryness and itching and painful intercourse are experienced by up to 10 to 40% of postmenopausal women. And unlike the hot flushes and the sweating, which eventually end sometimes, although it can take a long time, the vaginal one, which is caused by vaginal atrophy, means vagina getting drier and thinner, typically doesn't resolve by itself. Oftentimes you have to do something about it. But luckily, there are things that you can do about it. And these things include using a lot of lubricants, making sure your husband understands so that you can use a lot of lubricants for yourself and also for him as to make it easier, or your partner. And also, if apart from the lubricants, using local vaginal estrogen, we can prescribe that, and is one of the safer ways of increasing the vaginal texture and lubrication. And then although it seems counterintuitive, regular sexual activity actually helps, because if you use the lubricants enough and you're also having sexual activity more frequently, the vagina gets used to it and it reduces a lot of the symptoms. So sexual health issues generally increase with aging. So I'm concentrating a bit more on it because of that. And it peaks from around the age of 45 and to the age of 64. Really, unfortunately, some women just feel, look, I'm already a particular age, I shouldn't have sex anymore anyway, but that's not necessarily true. There's nothing wrong with having sex even up to your 70s and 80s, as long as you are, conversant of the issues that surround it. It helps bond a couple even when you're getting older, even if it's once in 2 months that you're deciding to do it. And so you shouldn't ever feel that, oh, at some particular age, I don't need to have intercourse anymore. It's really up to, individual preference, and also to, be able to accommodate it based on the symptoms. So decreased testosterone sometimes also reduces the decline in sexual desire. I've had patients come to me that, doctor, I don't even really want to do this anymore. That's the thing. I don't even feel the need. Okay. If your partner also feels the same way, then it's fine. But if you know that the feeling the need is because it's not because you're having problems with your partner, or because you're just disillusioned with life generally, that it's not coming naturally and you want to change it, then it's something that can be worked towards. So decreased testosterone tends to cause this, and we can also get things like testosterone patches that help, apart from the usual hormone replacement therapy. So an active sex life, lubricants and moisturizers, local vaginal estrogen, and it's available in the market, help maintain the vaginal health that can improve the symptoms in this regard. Now, sleep disturbances. Women sleep less. They have more frequent insomnia when they're menopausal. And sweating at night sometimes contributes to this. You're sweating, you're having heat, and I know that happens to me quite a bit. And that's one of the times I have to say to us that we know that we can't always put on the fan or the air conditioning because of the issue of electricity going off. But I'll plead with us. There's certain things that we just have to take as our priorities. So even if it is a better past my neighbor that we feel we're going to get to keep that fan going, I think is important, because it tends to help you sleep better. So if it is this night sweat or the hot flushes that are causing the insomnia, it's best to get it. Regarding insomnia that is not caused by that, sometimes it's just the general aging effects, having to get up to go and pass urine, or other sleep related disorders, stress, negative mood. All those also might lead to reduced sleep. And these are some of the things that have to be worked with as time goes on. And I'll talk to that when I'm speaking about the remedies. Memory and concentration. Midlife women should be counseled that memory and concentration problems are not necessarily only related to the menopause, but sometimes the normal aging process, mood, stress, or other life circumstances, and some of the lifestyle changes help with these. Mood disorders as well can be occurring more. You just find yourself snapping more at people. You find yourself being more irritable. All these things can be caused by the menopause. Sometimes they're also because of stress and our environment. Nigeria is stressful enough as it is, and it's enough to bring out a lot of these things in us. Women in particular, we tend to want to be the ones doing everything, helping other people, caring for the family, caring for others. We forget ourselves. And this is some of the things that can lead to us feeling overwhelmed, overstretched, and mood issues coming in. Women with a history of premenstrual syndrome, even when they were younger, significant stress issues, physical inactivity, or hot flushes are more vulnerable to the depressive symptoms. So we have to look out for this. So how do we treat? We've talked about the symptoms, the features. How do we treat? Now, hormone replacement therapy or hormone therapy, also known as HRT or HT, is one of the ways to treat these symptoms. I'm speaking about it first because it's the one with the one that has the worst press. All of a sudden, when things have to do with hormones, the same thing happens with contraceptive pills. When people start feeling, this thing have side effects, so these things cause cancer, or these things cause stroke, or we can't use them. We don't want this, we don't want that. But really, these treatments have been used, are being used, and I'll talk to you about how you can safely use them or other, I will still move to other lifestyle changes, but I want to start with hormone replacement therapy first, just so that we can know about it and know that it's an option that is available if all the other things don't work. So estrogen therapy alone can be used, and is unopposed estrogen, we'll call it ET, can be used either by tablet form or by patches for women who don't have a uterus. It can be used safely in them. Or for those who have a uterus, that is, they haven't had a hysterectomy, it can be used in low doses into the vagina. For if you have just vaginal symptoms, you can use estrogen alone. If you have a uterus, you have to use both estrogen and progesterone, because if you have a uterus and you use estrogen alone, it can increase the risk of endometrial cancer. So you have to use progesterone with estrogen if you have a uterus, if you are using hormone replacement. Now, what we know today about hormone therapy, the transdermal route, that is using patches, carries lower risk for a lot of side effects or a lot of complications, including thrombosis. So it's important to note that, and it's important to, some of our pharmacists will carry this, but even the tablets can be used safely if you use them properly. The absolute risks for hormone replacement therapy use in healthy women between the ages of 50 and 59 are actually quite low. They can include thrombosis, stroke, and some cardiovascular events like heart attack, but the risks are low. And let me explain this. So if you say out of 1,000 women using hormone replacement therapy and 1,000 women not using hormone replacement therapy, the background risk of some of these things are maybe about 20 per 1,000 women when you are not using anything at all. If you now use this hormone replacement with therapy for women below 60, the increased risk is maybe about 8 more women may have some of these problems. 8 more women versus 20. So if you're saying 20 without using it, maybe 28 will now get some of these if they're using hormone replacement therapy. Now, I know that we say 28 more is significant, but if you do screening things like doing your mammograms and breast scans, and also checking your lipid profile and checking your blood counts and co, which is what I do for women that I want to start on hormone replacement therapy. We do all those tests to make sure that everything is clear before we start it. All those things, at least help reduce the risk even more. And it makes you feel more comfortable. And then also you can use it for just maybe 3 years in maximum, or 5 years maximum. And the breast cancer risk increases only to that small number when you use it beyond 3 to 5 years in total. Estrogen alone can be considered for longer duration of use because it carries a lower risk for breast cancer, strangely enough. But
Sorry.
if you have a uterus, then you can't use estrogen alone. So you have to consider each woman's priorities and risk factors before you initiate hormone replacement therapy generally. So moving to the alternatives, there are all sorts of things you can use. You can use antidepressants for some of these problems. So if you're, for example, you have, okay, somebody's raising their hand. Is it because you can't hear me, or is it just, can I go on? Can you all hear me, please?
Yes, Prof, you can go on.
Okay, fine. So
Yes, Prof, I'm hearing you.
okay, antidepressants are used sometimes for some symptoms. It helps with the irritability and mood issues. It also helps with even hot flushes sometimes. So it's something that is sometimes prescribed. Hypnotics for sleep. There are certain types that are not addictive, but you have to be very careful because a lot of hypnotics, that is drugs that make you sleep, or sedatives, can be addictive. So you have to make sure they are prescribed by a physician. Some antihypertensives, some anticonvulsants also help. Clonidine in particular helps with hot flushes, and it doesn't have the hormonal effects. Pregabalin also helps with hot flushes and some of these issues. Some complementary or alternative medicine. Black cohosh is definitely known, St. John's wort as well. But the problem with some of these drugs is that we don't know the dose that works, unfortunately. So it's not something that we can prescribe, effectively and careful and obviously. But if you decide that you want to use them, black cohosh is known to sometimes help, but you just have to be very careful and make sure that you start with very small doses because we are not aware of what actually helps for them. Melatonin helps with sleep and is not known to be addictive per se. So it's something that can be helped also with a small dose. And topical progesterone also sometimes helps. Lifestyle changes, I'm going to speak to this quite a bit. Relaxation techniques are some of the things that help the most. Yoga and meditation in particular. And yoga doesn't mean that you're suddenly becoming a Buddhist or you're not going to be a good Christian or a good Muslim. No, not at all. Yoga is something that is useful in terms of helping you with breathing deeply and, focusing on breathing and reducing the negative thoughts that tend to cause a lot of these things. Meditation, the same way thing. And yoga helps with muscle pains and things that are also menopausal symptoms, because yoga helps you with stretching. It helps with, in fact, I know people that sometimes they're about to have knee surgery and then they start doing yoga and they don't need it anymore because it helps with the joints and all the muscular aches. So those are some of the things that really help. Healthy diet also helps, reducing spicy food, reducing alcohol, reducing pastries, reducing red meats. All those things tend to help with the symptoms of menopause. Regular exercise, I cannot overemphasize that. Exercise, even if you're thin, exercise really, really helps with stress. I know that I'm quite busy. I have a lot of stress in my work. I head a department. Even when I'm not heading the department, I have a lot of research grants. I teach students. I also still do clinical work. I look after patients. I do some private practice as well. And like I said, I head some boards. I'm on some boards of some hospitals. So I'm really, really busy. But what I do, apart from making sure that I delegate a lot, and that's something I'll speak to as well, is that when I get home, at least 6 days a week, I walk. I get out, get into my, no matter how tired I am, I get into my exercise clothes, put on my trainers, and walk at least 30 minutes, sometimes 50 minutes, sometimes 1 hour every day, at least 5 to 6 days a week. And it really helps. By the time I come back, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm not even going to be able to get up and do this today. But once you do it and you come back, you always tell yourself, in fact, thank God, because the body was made to move. It's a difficult thing when you want to start it, but if you get into it, you find out that you really, really be happy for it. Keeping cool, sleeping in a cool room, I've said that already. Dressing in layers, and I've talked about the moisturizers, lubricants. I didn't talk about the vibrators earlier on, but that's something you can also use to make yourself get into the mood more once your partner permits and your religious sentiments also permit. So the last words, it's not the end of the world regarding menopause. There are solutions to everything. One thing I wanted to say, apart from the lifestyle changes, is that delegation. Women, we tend to want to do everything. From the earlier on in my career, I learned that when you delegate, you find more time for yourself as well as for your work. So I've always had an assistant. I got a driver too very quickly. I delegate in my home as well. I have someone that cooks. Unfortunately, I don't do, I've never really liked the market. It's too hot and troublesome. So I delegate that too. And I'm able to. So of course, definitely all homes are different. So you have to have that conversation with your family members. But a lot of the time, things that we feel that our partners will not accept, if we discuss it with them, they tend to. So it's good to have the conversation and delegate as much as you can, because it gives you more freedom of life. One thing I forgot to mention is vitamin D. Vitamin D, a lot of us are actually more deficient in it than we think, even though we are in a climate of sun, because we tend to go from air conditioning to air conditioning. So if you check our vitamin D levels and take supplements, it also tends to help some of these things. So my final word is about relaxing more. And if you need it, take the medication. Don't say, oh, this HRT is bad. Sometimes this thing, we keep it in our minds and in our heads. Once we know that, all these things have not helped, and you are working with the doctor that you trust, you may need to still go for this medication. I think that's my last slide, and I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Bosede. Thank you so much. That was a loaded, a loaded amount of information you gave to us. For those of us that didn't join from the beginning, Prof took us on the clinical perspective of menopause. She has told us that the final menstrual period confirmed after 1 year of no menstrual bleeding is what we can describe as being menopausal. Although if you have loss of ovarian follicular function, you can also be termed menopausal. Then the average age of menopause is 51. Then where it occurs before the age of 40, that is called premature menopause. She talked about the associated symptoms, which include the hot flushes, the night sweats, the vaginal dryness, and then the change in menstrual period. She also said people could experience sleep disturbances, memory issues, concentration issues, depression, and anxiety. She talked about the fact that we could have treatments in form of hormone therapy or hormone replacement therapy. The estrogen therapy, the ET, which she mentioned as unopposed estrogen, is useful for those people that do not have a uterus. While the estrogen therapy that also contains progesterone where progesterone is added, is useful for women with uterus. Then absolute risk for HRT is extremely low, especially within the ages of 50 to 59. And HRT there is the hormone replacement therapy. And then of course, considered risk factors for this are people with other enabling diseases. Then she talked about the fact that we could also use vaginal estrogen creams and gels, which are available in the pharmacies, and the fact that frequent sexual intercourse also helps the situation. She has also mentioned that complementary and alternative medicines can also be utilized, especially when you discuss cohesively with your doctor as well as your pharmacist. She has mentioned, most importantly, lifestyle changes, that we should relax. In fact, when she was talking about exercise, I just went, exercise, exercise. Everybody needs to exercise. So we must move around, because she has told us that exercise helps with stress. We should avoid caffeine, alcohol, and spicy foods. At the end of the day, get a lot of regular exercise. And then it's not the end of the world. We shouldn't carry everything on our heads. We must learn to delegate. You must delegate. If you don't get that thing done that day, the world is not going to end. You can't do cleaning, cooking, teaching, and then think you will not go stressed. You must delegate. And then a lot of us are professional women, so we should also try and allow our money to work for us sometimes. You can send somebody to the market. There are people that cook food. I really keyed into this delegation. And then she also mentioned that a lot of us, vitamin D deficiency is actually more common than we actually think it is. So we should look at that and speak with our doctor concerning that. So I want to thank Prof again for that enlightening speech, and the PowerPoint slides will be made available to all participants at the end of this study. So there were 3 questions I would love to read to you for you to answer. I know you are pressed for time. The first question is, I wish, good day, Prof. I wish to ask if you can also give us links on where to have general body examinations related to mammograms and cervical examinations in Lagos. There are key organs that have caused deaths in many.
After one has tried to ensure that one is not too stressed and gone through all the necessary checks and balances, then one can see a neurologist, because that could also be something to do with the cognition, and neurologists will be able to help with that. So it can be part of it, but stress tends to be more a cause. So it's important to look into that. Regarding the experiencing menopausal symptoms even before your periods end, yes, it does happen. So you start the perimenopause. Some people are even still having monthly periods, but start having those flushes, because even though you're having those monthly periods, it may not be that you're actually ovulating. The ovaries are already beginning to function less. And so people do have hot flushes and some of those symptoms before the period actually ends. There's the perimenopausal period. Then where can you have these tests? Luth. The family medicine department of Luth actually does comprehensive testing, and you don't even have to go through the usual Luth process. I know that when you say Luth, you may start thinking, oh, you have to go and wait. No, the family medicine department does do these comprehensive tests. So you can go into Luth and go to the family medicine clinic and you can have them done. So yes, mammogram as well as the pap smear and all those tests can be done in Luth. Thank you. And then sorry, I know I have to go off, but you can share my email, just email, please, emphasis, my email address, and I can answer questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Folabi. That was a very enlightening questions, and we will definitely send all corresponding questions to your email. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Laribe, over to you, ma'am.
Wow, outstanding, marvelous. I don't even have enough words to describe Professor Bosede's speech. Prof, we are very grateful. Thank you very much. Dr. Margaret Ilomaya, good summary and good anchoring of that session. Many thanks. Thank you very, very much. If there is something I'm taking out from here at this point is that we must delegate. As we grow older, we must learn to assign duties so that we can have enough rest. Prof, Ma, please, we have so many questions. We have so many questions. And I will put in your email shortly for people to send in their questions to you. And we know that you're very, very busy. In fact, many thanks for you to spare this time to honor this webinar. So be prepared to answer our questions, Mama. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Now, thank you. Bye-bye then. Yeah. Thank you.
Now it's time to move to the next item on our agenda. And we have at this point someone very a front runner to share her experience in the person of Professor Rosemary Egon. Professor Rosemary Egon will be inviting her to share her experience, a front runner. I will just shortly to read her citation. Just a bit to share her screen. Okay. Good. Professor Rosemary Egon holds a Doctor of Philosophy degree from University of Oxford, MSc and BSc degrees from University of Lagos. She's also a Commonwealth Academy scholar who has distinguished herself as a scientist in the area of animal and environmental physiology, toxicology, and conservation. She's also a fellow of the Zoological Society of Nigeria and a foundation member of National Think Tank. Professor Rosemary is also a member of so many professional bodies, including the Lekki Conservation Center and the Society for Environmental Toxicology and Pollution Mitigation, SEPTCON, amongst many others. Her administrative experience also includes the position she held as Senior Environmental Advisor for SNEPCO, that's Shell Nigerian Exploration and Production Company. And she is also an author and co-author of more than 50 scientific publications in her areas of research. She's happily married with 4 children and a grandson. Please join me to welcome a 2-time head of department, Professor Rosemary Egon, to share her experience. Prof, Ma, you have the floor. Good to have you, Ma. Prof, you are muted. Kindly unmute yourself, Ma. Prof, unmute yourself. Good. You have the floor, Ma. You're welcome, Ma. Prof, can you hear us? Hello? Okay. Probably maybe Prof will share later. Let's make welcome.
Say so.
Hello. Okay,
Can
Prof.
you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now, ma. You have the floor, ma.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for inviting me to talk about a woman's issue. I cannot categorically say the exact date, but in my early 50s, I started having signs of menopause. These were irregular periods until it completely stopped. Weight gain. That I'm emphasizing it because before then, I've not been the skinny type. I've been, just normal weight. But when menopause set in, I put on so much weight. I was a regular visitor to Ikoyi Club gym. I stabbed myself. I had home videos, and yet the weight did not shift. Then I also started having pains in my joints, especially my knees. And today, it is still existing as osteoarthritis. I also have sleeping difficulties. I didn't attribute these ones to menopause because I've been, as a result of night breastfeeding, so I just thought it was normal, But I did, despite the fact I was sweating and doing all sorts of things, I didn't worry. All I did was to go to the doctor who checked my vital signs. I did, can you hear me? I did some tests, mammogram. I also did a mammogram, cervical smear test. I did coloscopy. And then the doctor said everything was just okay. I shouldn't be too worried. And then I placed myself on supplements, mostly vitamins. And I'm still on vitamins still today. But apart from vitamins, I did not take any medication because I felt it was a natural process. And as I've seen the doctor, there was no reason to be worried. I started doing my regular exercise, which I still do till today. That includes daily walk and home video. I'm a disciple of home video. And now I watch what I eat. I don't call it dieting because dieting doesn't work. Just make sure you eat regularly, a main meal a day, a smaller meal, and a very light breakfast. And you will find that the weight will start going. When there's nothing for the body to use, it will use the stored fat. And I'm enjoying that now. So I also delegate. I have a housekeeper and I have a driver that they've helped me to do more than that. And then during that period of menopause, I was too active. That was the peak of my career. So there was no reason why I should give way to thinking about it. In fact, I didn't even think about it. I was just going about my own. So because I was appointed a professor, so many other things, and supervision, academic work, head of department, and so much. So there was nothing I did not do that I should have done. I enjoyed my period of menopause, so to say, because I was fully involved in my academic career of teaching and research. I will also advise all of us going through it now. First of all, see your doctor. And after that, you can sort of address it, but please don't go overboard. It's something which we will all get through. And if you are lucky, like me, my last set of children, the twins, were born when I was 34 years old. So between that and menopause, I had so much time on my hands, so to say. I still did school run, and I'm happy that I had my menopause way, way, way far in front of having the children. Thank you very much.
Wow. Prof, thank you very much for sharing that experience. We are really, really encouraged by those words. And we hope to really take some of the counsels you have given us. At this time, we want to recognize the presence of the Southwest Coordinator, Nigerian chapter, Dr. Felicia Ejia. Dr. Felicia Ejia representing, coordinating Southwest region of Nigerian OWSD chapter. You're welcome, ma. We also want to welcome all the professors in our midst and all our participants. Please put in your questions in the Q&A box so that we don't mix them with the chats. And it's recorded, so we're going to stream on the OWSD Lagos YouTube shortly after the presentation. At this point, we want to welcome another a woman of honor to share her experience, the MD of Bainik Kinol Farms here in Lagos, in the person of Mrs. Oluwatoyosi Aboderi. Mrs. Aboderi, ma, good to have you. Please share your experience with us. Thank you. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, ma.
Okay,
Good to
okay.
have you. Go ahead, ma.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Listening to Dr. Afolabi speaking, in fact, it's so inciting. And if I'd had this opportunity before now, I wouldn't have been worried the way I was worried when I started. I entered into menopause. I entered into menopause around age 47, 48. Hello, I hope you can hear me.
Yes,
ma. We can hear you, ma.
We can hear you, ma.
Okay. Okay. I entered into menopause around age 47, 46, 47. And, it started like I was having malaria. I was always having headache. And I started treating malaria. It was like I was treating malaria every other week. At the end of the day, I had to go to the hospital, and that was when I was told that it was menopausal signs I was having. It got so bad that it was as if the world was coming to an end, because I was home for a month without going out because the headache was always there. The regular period started at that same time, and I observed that anytime my period does not come, I'm okay. I'll be fine. If my period does not come for like 2 months, 3 months, nothing will be wrong with me. But the month the period comes, I'll be sick again. As before, just before the period comes, I'll fall sick. I'll be having headache. I'll be having joint pains all over. It got to an extent that I spoke to quite some people, some nurses, and they advised against hormonal therapy. So that's why I said, listening to Dr. Afolabi speak now, it's really educating and insightful. Because if had listened to such lecture before now, I would have been aware of what to do. I would have been harmed, because knowledge is key. I went on for so long, and there are other symptoms that came along with it. I never had hot flushes. I don't even have it at all. Even I didn't have it at all. I don't have it now as well. A lot of people talk about hot flushes. But one thing I was able to observe again was that I started, my hair started thinning out in front. It started thinning out in front to the extent that I had to cut my hair. And also my nails, both my toenails and my fingernails started cracking. They were cracking, and it was so bad. So I spoke to a pharmacist concerning that. And, the pharmacist also told me that it was menopausal syndrome, and gave me some supplements. So I was given Perfectil hair, nails, and skin. And I've been using that Perfectil now for the past 3 years. I've not missed it for a day, because I discovered that it has been helping with my hair, with the growth of my hair, and my nails have stopped cracking. There was a time I was sick for like 2 weeks. I did not take the Perfectil. And after that, I noticed that my nails started cracking again. I went back to it. So talking about supplements is really important at this time, because the estrogen level is going down. A lot of things begin to happen. I also had weight gain. Because I noticed that every other week, my clothes, I'll go into my wardrobe, I will change, I will take a dress I want to pick, and I will discover that it's tight. It got to an extent, I told my husband that I needed a change of wardrobe, but he said, go to the gym. Maybe when you go to the gym, it will help, rather than buying clothes and things like that. And I started going to the gym. Lo and behold, I was regular in the gym for 4 solid months. I was only able to lose 4 kg. At the end of the 4th month, I got discouraged, and I stopped going to the gym. I went back to the doctor, and they told me that it was because of the menopause. I changed my diet. I tried to follow a regimen for a month, at least to drop, because it was getting to a stage that I was having knee aches and all. And I knew that the weight was the problem. So I changed my diet. For like a month, I was virtually eating vegetables and fruits. So, and I was able to drop, I think at the end of that month, I was able to drop 9 kg. So I was encouraged. So I since then, I changed my diet. And I have observed that even with this menopausal syndrome, I think we need a diet change. There are so many things we need to cut off from our diets. All those things that we have been eating in the past 40-something years. I think all those sugary things, processed food, we need to stop them and eat more of living food like vegetables, okra, and take a lot of water. I drink a lot of water as well, and I drink a lot of green tea. So it is something that we need to be educated about because it will help. Because that time I felt as if I was dying. I started running all sorts of tests. I didn't know what to do. I was running from pillar to post because I didn't really have knowledge about all these things. But good enough, I did not keep quiet because I discovered that in my church, I had some people going through similar experiences. So we used to, share notes and all of that. And okay, what do you think I should do? What did your doctor say the last time? What did your own doctor say concerning this? And that lifted my spirit because at a stage I thought it was like a terminal disease that have not really been diagnosed of. But later on, I discovered that it is just everything happening to me was due to menopause. So I would just advise that things like this, when we have seminars like this, those of us who have not really entered into menopause should give ourselves the opportunity, avail ourselves the opportunity to listen to such and read on it. The internet is a place where you can read anything, because later I went on the internet and I was able to sorry. Another thing I experienced, it's itching in the vagina. The itching comes when my period is about to come. I thought it was thrush. I would use all sorts of medication, vaginal medication, vaginal tablets, but it didn't help. But one thing I observed was that as soon as the menstruation begins, the itching disappears. The itching disappears, and that is the end of it until the next menstruation. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak, and I hope I've been able to share a little bit of my own experience on menopause. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Toyosi. We are really blessed by that advice. 4 months of gym equals a loss of 4 kg. So the mathematicians in the house, 1 month of gym equals one loss of 1 kg.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Change of diet and lifestyle, also the same thing occurring, same advice occurring. I think as one grows older, metabolism rate, we have to watch our diets and of course embrace a very good lifestyle. Our time is fast spent. We must run. We have 2 more speakers. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss those 2 speakers. We want to listen to a senior lecturer at the at General Ogunsanya University, College of Education, pardon me, in the person of Dr. Beatrice Organa Ifujeye, to tell us why we should embrace menopause, whether it's a curse or a blessing. Dr. Beatrice, you have the floor to give us this talk. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I would like to share my screen, please.
Please go ahead, ma. You have the permission to do that. Go ahead.
But
Or do you want me to share from here?
okay, no, I'm sharing now.
Okay.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to participate in this webinar that has to do with us women. Can you hear me, please? Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
ahead.
Go on.
Thank you for having me, and I'd like to talk on the topic, what should we embrace menopause, a curse or a blessing? I would like to talk about it through this outline, an introduction, milestones in womanhood, fears and anxieties of menopause, superstitions of menopause, coping with some menopausal symptoms, the blessing of menopause, and I'll conclude. I like to talk about who a woman is, because when we understand who the woman is, we appreciate why we go through all the experiences we go through and how God has prepared us to go through those experiences and survive and come out successful. Woman is a female, she's a mother, she's a caregiver for all the family, she does child rearing duties, she's a homemaker and a manager, the custodian of the family resources, she's sometimes a wife to a man and a family relationship manager. That makes her a multitasking expert, naturally prepared and endowed by the Creator to excel in all specialized duties that nature and circumstances find her. And that is why a successful man does not feel accomplished in life if he doesn't have a wife or a woman by his side. And sometimes to evaluate a man by act on the basis of the marriage, if married, his success is complete. And let's look at the milestones in womanhood. When a girl child is born, until here she goes through puberty, where she has the breast is enlarged, formation of form, and menstruation comes on. She also goes through education and career, goes through schooling, acquisition of skills, development, employment to earn a living, and career development. These are milestones. They also have the natural achievement for every woman, which she aspires to be, and that is marriage, pregnancy and childbirth, parenting, and the final one, which is menopause, which is what we are talking about now. The Dr. Afolabi has taken us through all what menopause is all about, the symptoms and how it can be managed. And the conclusion is menopause is a regular part of aging. So when it occurs from age less than 40, there is that fear it is premature, and that can bring anxiety to the woman. Then it can also be an anxiety when there is delay in marriage or pregnancy, or where there are some underlying issues, and the severity of symptoms could be a serious problem for the woman. But the good news is that menopause is a natural process, and the symptoms disappears over time. It is not permanent. Then there are some superstitions about menopause, which our parents and grandparents had. They believe it's the end of sex for the woman, or the end of enjoyment of sex. What Dr. Afolabi has told us, it should not be. Sex can be enjoyed until it's aged up to 80 and so on. Then there's also the superstition that when you are menopausal, you have sex, you become pregnant. Then there's also the one that says that having sex in menopause will cause the woman's stomach to swell. Then when there is a premature menopause, there is this superstition that it is because they're having sex too early in life, or you had too much sex at early age. So that's why God has decided to impose menopause on you as a consequence of your early sexual life. But we all know that superstitions and may not be true. She has essentially talked about the symptoms and strategies. Some of them is to cold water, sleep in air-conditioned room, and even use the fan plus air conditioner. I remember a time air conditioner was not doing enough for me, so I usually set the fan on stable point on plus the air conditioner. Then you can still enjoy sex.
by lubricating the vagina with lubricant, exercise, eating healthy, don't eat food late, and make sure your bedroom is a very comfortable bedroom, clean your bed sheets regularly, and have decorations in your bedroom, all those, the kind of lighting you put in your bedroom that will help in the sleep disturbances. And you also eat variety of meals. The more colorful the meal, the better. Then to cope with memory problem, you can be socially active and engage in social activities, and that will make us to be mentally active and help us in our memory problem. Now the issue here is menopause a blessing or a curse? Well, to me, because it's a natural aging process, it is a blessing. The other additions to the blessing is that there's no more discomfort of the monthly menstrual cycle and the use of menstrual devices. When we were younger, when we started menstruating initially, we felt it was so uncomfortable for us. Why should we carry pads? We are going to be careful. You don't know whether it's today. You mark your date on the calendar, and it doesn't come, or it comes earlier than, or comes later. So with menopause, no anxiety about that. There's no discomfort of menstrual cycle. There's also, you don't need to spend money on menstrual pads, menstruation pads, and all the other devices we use for menstruation. So that is a blessing. There's also reduced anxiety of the inconveniences of when the menses will start. Then you also save money from purchasing menstruation devices, family planning medication. I remember when my phone came in, I had teenage girls, and I became menopausal, buying menstruation pads. We're buying pads. In fact, we were getting pads. I used the pink color, I like the blue because of the heaviness. At times, they will come and take mine, and I'll be looking for mine, or I find mine, I take that. So there were these pranks in the house. So with menopause, all those ones are gone. So it's a blessing. No more struggling with your teenage girls or your daughters or your cousins. So to me, it's a blessing. Then there's no more fear of unexpected pregnancy. Because there's an age you get to by 35, 40. We are still afraid that you may get pregnant. And my younger sister got pregnant, and she's a medical consultant. And she was conducting family planning clinic, and she was using an IUD. And she got pregnant at almost 40. And she had to have a late child. And with menopause, you don't need that. Just enjoy sex. So have sex with your husband without fear of unwanted pregnancy, or you start other patients with pregnancy in old age. Because when you go 40 and get pregnant, your chances of having a child that is that may not normal increases. So menopause is a blessing. You don't have that issue of having unwanted pregnancy. There's also that increase in body glow induced by menopause. Remember, I became menopausal around 47, 48. And I noticed this glow. The breast became enlarged. I was feeling very, everybody was, you look good. I gained a little weight because I used to be a little bit, and I was feeling good about it. And which to me blessing, because more men started noticing. And I was even telling for your information, I've been a single mother for 20 years. I just got married about 2 years ago. So that glow, the men were still admiring me, and I was asking myself, why this sudden rush? So that's a blessing for me as a menopausal sign of having body glow, good body, and everybody was the rush of the, we were younger when the boys were rushing, but now at old age, some men are looking at you. So that to me is a blessing. So that satisfaction, right from coming to full age of womanhood, menopause is just the ultimate. That's the final. You have now fully gone through the cycle. You are now a complete full woman. And like I said at the beginning of the presentation, God has already prepared us all that we're going to go through: pregnancy, lactation, and all that. So getting to menopausal stage, symptoms become child's play because you have already been prepared. We all had symptoms when we were pregnant, but we knew pregnancy was a blessing. And the children that comes with pregnancy is the icing on the cake of human achievement. So if you look at where children come from on the delivery table, and you see the blood mess and the feces and all that, and what comes out of that mess? A beautiful baby, which we nurture to adulthood, and we add it as our life achievement. Why won't menopause be a blessing to the woman? So the conclusion to me here is that all the symptoms of menopause can be managed, and it's not a lifetime thing. The doctor has told us, the professor of gynecology and obstetrics, sorry for that pronunciation, I always have problem saying that, has told us there are different treatments for menopause, hormonal treatments, alternative treatments. So even if you decide not to go through any of those treatments, it is not a cause, because you can live with it. We can live with it. There's exercise, there's controlling your weight, there's yoga, there's eating healthy, there's increasing your network, your career, and you to forget all the inconveniences of menopause. So it is a blessing, and I'd say we should embrace it graciously when it comes, and we'll be better for it. Thank you very much for listening. I hope I've been able to add spice to the topic. And I want to also add some of my experiences. I was lucky. I just had this heat around my head, just sweating, and I had this extra hair growing on my chin. And I was used to tell my husband that I can shave like you. And it's just something we have to live with. And to me, we can live with all the pains of marriage, of childbearing, of the discrimination against women from our culture. Menopause is just a child's play. The symptoms for menopause is just a child's play, and we can live with it. Thank you very much for listening, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Thank you very much, Ma.
You're welcome.
I want to start first by appreciating our distinguished panels who have spoken so far. It's indeed an interesting webinar. And I want to actually say that menopause, like the last speaker said, Dr. Organa Ikujeyo, that is a blessing and not a curse. Now, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, the speech from Dr. Gani Kejueyo is really an interesting one. Maybe probably because she's a nutritionist. No, she's talking to us based on over 2 decades of experience in her profession. And maybe probably because she's a member of several organizations that has to do with food. The Nigerian Institute of Food Science and Technology. She's also a member of the Nutrition Society of Nigeria. She's equally a member of International Federation of Home Economics Association. She's a member, Organization for Women in Science in the Developing Countries. And also a member, the National Association of Women in Colleges of Education, just to mention a few. As a matter of fact, she's the chairperson, Women in Colleges of Education, Aderera Ogunsai College of Education. Thank you very much, Ma, for that interesting and wonderful speech. Now, I want to give a recap of Doctor's speech. I don't know why I'm getting excited. Maybe because I'm looking forward to getting fat. I'm a very slim person, and I always pray and beg God that I want to add a little bit weight. In fact, I've eaten a lot of things. I eat late at night, but now I'm much, much happy, looking forward for that menopause period that I'll begin to glow and add a little weight. Thank you very much, Ma, for that hope that you've given me today. Doctor said that Women, we are special, both, from the day of creation. We are caregiver, and he said we are a homemaker and manager. In fact, he called us a multitask expert. And a multitask expert, not by what we have, not by our degree, but because that is the way God has created us. And so we need to carry ourselves that way. He went on to look at the milestones of womanhood from puberty level to the menopause level, that is the natural aging process. Then, one made a comment that, struck me. He says the good news about menopause. We have all the fears and anxieties of menopause, but the good news is that it's not permanent. It disappears over time. So we have to take it the time it comes, knowing fully well that it's just for a time that is going to go. Then he has made it clear for us that there are superstitious beliefs about menopause, which is not really true from experience. Those of us that are they're very young and that like to do the show. We look up to say, is it that I'm going to end my kind of having sex with my spouse? Today, he has enlightened us more that that is not the end of our sex, and that our stomach will swell up. Those that have a flat tummy like me, I used to be afraid. Does it mean that when I get to my menopause that my tummy is going to swell? But today I have a different view that it is not actually, there is nothing like that. It's just a superstitious belief. Thank you very much, Ma, for that wonderful information. Now, she went on to buttress what Professor Afolabi mentioned today, coping with some of these symptoms, drinking of cold water, sleeping in a conditioned room, using vaginal lubricants and moisturizers. Then, he actually used himself as an example. He said to him, menopause is a blessing. And I want every woman that is participating in this program to tell herself and tell all the women that she knows that menopause is a blessing. Can we do that, please? Tell yourself that menopause is a blessing. Yes, it's a blessing because it is a natural aging process. There is no fear expected, that God has already prepared us for this. We all have signs during our puberty, when we are undergoing our menstrual period. When we are pregnant, there are signs. She said these are the things that God has used in order to prepare us for what we are going to see or what we are going to get through menopause. I want to end this by recapping one of his slides that he said, let us embrace it gracefully when it comes. I think that settles it. We need to embrace it with good, knowing that it is a blessing and not a curse. And by that, it's going to be a blessing to us. Thank you very much, Dr. Ogana Kujioyo. Thank you for that wonderful speech. Now, I want to look at some of the questions. I think we will need your email address. Yes?
Please, we'll send questions to each panelist.
That's what I want to say. I want a doctor to send us her email address so that we can display it on the chat, so that people will send the questions to her. Thank you very much, and let's go on the ride for more interesting talks. Thank you. Dr. Larry, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Cordelia Dureke. Maybe you give us another talk. Thank you very much. We are we are almost getting to the end of this interesting webinar, and I just, it's as if we have not even started. We are still having all the participants in together. I want to appreciate still with us, Professor Bola Joko Aino, Professor of Clinical Pharmacy in the Faculty of Pharmacy. She has been with us in this program. Professor Olubumi Otubanjo, we appreciate you, ma. Now it is time to listen to the last speaker, and I tell you to fasten your seatbelt, and to anchor this is no other but Dr. Bayo. Dr. Bayo, please, you have the floor. Thank you.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Laribe. So please give me a few minutes to read out Dr. Chris Isioma Williams' profile. Dr. Chris Isioma Williams is a College of Nursing, University of Lagos trained medical doctor. He's a Christian minister and sought-after conference speaker whose teachings progressively offer a holistic approach to life that strikes a chord. Dr. Chris Isioma Williams is the host of Family Health on TV, the leading voice in the alternative medicine space. He is known for his work in the field of naturopathy, where he constantly researches, practices, and promotes natural health alternatives in preventive and curative health management. He's a personal health manager who has taught individual health management across the globe for over a decade. Dr. Chris Williams is the senior pastor of the Headstone Church Lagos, president, Headstone Life Development Consult, Headstone Entrepreneurship College, and the convener of the Grace and Faith Conference. Please help make welcome Dr. Chris Isioma Williams as he takes us on the next journey for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so very much. Good afternoon, everyone. And I must say that I am very excited and I feel very privileged to be in the house this afternoon. I've been amongst so many academic luminaries, and I've enjoyed all the speakership, all the speakings that have gone on here this afternoon, and I have also been enlightened. Okay, I must say that I've learned a lot from Professor Folabi down to the very last speaker who has spoken. Now, I'm supposed to talk um, on natural management of menopause, and because Dr. Afolabi did a great job, I will just gloss over my introduction part so that we can go straight to what I have to tell us about natural management. Okay, she told us what menopause is, the point at which a woman stops ovulating and menstruation ceases. Okay, and she during our discussion we also learned that there are signs and symptoms that may start early. They may start early, what we call the perimenopause. And I will just quickly run through some of the signs and the symptoms. Okay, the people may be having anxiety from around 35. It start for some people around 35, and these days we're even seeing it even more earlier, a bit earlier. Okay, we have seen people who fell into real very early menopause. Okay, so people who are perimenopausal may have anxiety, they may have dry skin, they may have fatigue, they may have feelings of bloating, they may have insomnia, they may have palpitations, hot flushes, which we have talked a lot about. They may also have irritability, decreased libido, and sexual drive may be a something to grapple with. Lots of concentration, mood swings may set in, and then they will have this night sweats. Also, reduced stamina, urinary incontinence for some people, especially when they are really close to menopause, and then after menopause. All right, vaginal dryness and itching can also be an issue. And then there's also weight gain, joint pains, okay, and then hair loss, skin changes generally, and all that. Now, by the time menopause happens, which we were told what menopause is the very last menstrual period that one has. And if you have waited for 1 year and you have not menstruated again, you know that that one you had 13 months ago was your menopause. By the time, so all these things are there, not all at the same time. In diverse people, it could present with different things. And but by the time menopause hits, there are three major things that may stand out. Okay, there may be cardiovascular diseases, the osteoporosis may have happened, softening of the bone, and it will lead to bone aches, it will lead to arthritis and all that. And then the vaginal issues, the atrophy, leading to dryness and itching, and then, of course, dyspareunia, painful sex. Okay. Now, what are the management? I want to focus more here because I have just 10 to 15 minutes. First of all, dietary. And I thank God that almost everybody who has spoken has alluded to the need for dietary and nutritional changes. I must say this, if you start even before perimenopause, it will help you. It will help the perimenopause to be smoother for you, okay? And in case there are young people in the house, you are still in your 20s or in your early 30s, none of these things that we have talked about is happening to you yet. You can even start now, okay? You can do it, managing your diet and nutrition can never become a disadvantage. It will end up being an advantage in the now and in the future when somebody is growing. So what are the aspects, the things you need to watch so you can reduce them? You need to reduce drastically the eating of animal products, especially dairy and meat products. Dairy and meat products. By dairy products, I mean milk, I mean chickens, and then I mean eggs. You need to reduce them. Why is it important to reduce dairy and meat products significantly? Okay, and that's because many of the things dairy that we have today and the products we have today, many of them have been whole lot of hormones, okay? And that's an issue. So you reduce them drastically and then maybe stick with fish, okay? And seafoods generally, very important, okay? And then reduce or remove completely alcohol, caffeine, sugar, spicy foods. These are known to make hot flushes worse. Alcohol, caffeine, sugars, spicy foods generally. Any food, what we call them hot foods, whether it's hot by temperature or it's hot but because it is peppery or too spicy, eating them will worsen symptoms of perimenopause or menopause. Okay, so these spicy foods trigger hot flushes, they aggravate urinary incontinence, and they make mood swings worse. It's so very important. Okay, so you need to either do away with them or reduce them drastically. Somebody says, how for instance, will I spice my foods? Go for naturals, the gingers of this world, the garlic, okay, cinnamon, cardamom, all these things, and then a lot of crayfish, okay, and then all that. Okay, also, what should you do? What are the things to eat? Eat more plant-based foods. Plant-based, in fact, some people suggest that you make sure that your eatings are 50% raw food and then 50% raw cooked food. Eat more plant-based foods, and there are many of them. Oats. Oats is a very, very important food. I also discovered it about 3-4 years ago. It's one of the cereals that if you can afford it, you should eat it a whole lot because it helps the concentration and the memory issues that we talk about, and it also helps weight loss. It also helps weight loss, and then it also helps insomnia. Okay, you can check that up. Oats, it helps weight loss, it helps concentration problems, and also helps insomnia. Okay, so oats, and then you can make your meals out of millets and guinea corn. Millets and guinea corn. You can make your meals out of. You can eat beans. You can eat rice. But let it be more of the fada rice or the unpolished rice, basmati rice, top of the range. Brown rice, top of the range, followed by basmati rice, and then ofada rice, depending on which one you can afford. You eating a lot of vegetables will help. Eating a whole lot of vegetables will help. And I usually will recommend to my clients, blend them and drink them. Cucumber, cabbage, carrots, spinach, celery, blending them, drinking them. You don't have to blend all at the same time unless it begins to look like a medicine. Just take some few carrots, take some few cucumber, put it in a blender, add some water, and blend it and drink it. Okay. By this way, you are eating a whole lot of life-giving foods, and it restores life to your body. So I'll mention the vegetables again: carrots, beetroot, celery, spinach, cabbage, broccoli, cucumber, cauliflower, kelp. Kelp will help to shore up your iodine, the iodine in the body. They found out that there's a lot of correlation between people who have really bad menopausal symptoms and signs and low iodine. Okay, so eating seafoods, I've talked about it: fish, sardines, white fish, croaker, and all that. They help you. They actually did a study and they found that as opposed to about 70%, 70% in the Western world, they found out that just about 10 to 20% of women from Asia have serious menopausal symptoms and signs. Okay, they found out that, and that's not too far-fetched. That's not too far removed from the fact that they are eating what we call Mediterranean diets. Mediterranean diets are diets that comprise of a whole lot of seafoods and vegetables. You know, I mean, wide vegetables or wide variety of vegetables, let me say it. Okay, eating also foods that are rich in phytoestrogens. Phytoestrogens are plant-based estrogens, and I want you to take note of this: soya, flaxseed, soya. So taking soya as soya powder, or you take it as soya milk, the one you prepared yourself, not the one that have been sweetened with sugar, okay? Or whole grains, celery and parsley also contain phytoestrogens, and they help to shore up. Because the problem with menopause is that, and I'm sure everybody here has known that by now, if you listen especially to the prof, at some point, the ovaries begin to lag in the production of estrogen and some other hormones. And by the time the person is 40, 45, going on to 50, the production of estrogen has really gone down. Okay, the body still produces it in some places, but it's not enough. So by the time you take plant-based estrogens, it helps to show up the level of estrogen in your body, and it helps to reduce the effects of the absence of estrogen in the body. Okay, maybe I should explain this. Estrogen is known to be a reproductive hormone, but it acts also on several other aspects in the body. It has receptors in the brain, it has receptors in the breast, it has receptors in the skin and several other places. That's why when there is a when there's a reduction in the production of estrogen, all those other aspects of the body are affected. It has receptors in the bladder. That's why if it's not there, the person can begin to have urinary incontinence. Sorry. In the skin, if it's not there, the skin begins to shrivel. It's there in the vagina. The vagina begins to dry up, and it begins to cause a whole lot of itching. All right. So eating, and I've seen a whole lot of results doing this. Prof talked about hormone replacement therapy. And if you really do need hormone replacement therapy, you should go for it. But I will put it this way: let it be a latter resort. Try all these things we have said. Try it first. And if you still are doing badly, you are not doing well, then maybe you need to go in for hormone replacement therapy, because these things we are talking about the lifestyle approach really does work. We have been able to help so many persons. Okay. What else? Salt. You need to replace your white salt with Himalayan salt. Or if you like, Celtic sea salt or Himalayan salt. Okay, Himalayan salt, besides sodium and chloride, contains about 91 more elements, trace elements that are there to balance the salt. But just the table salt, what we know as table salt, contains mostly just sodium and chloride, and that's why it's not balanced. However, whether Himalayan salt or table salt, reduce your intake of salt. It's so very important. When you reduce the intake of salt, you put less stress on your cardiovascular system, and then your body retains water less. Your body retains water less. Okay. Somebody says, how will I make my food spicy? I've said ginger, garlic, onion, crayfish. Just go to town and experiment. Cardamom, cinnamon, oregano. If you go to any standard supermarket, if you go to the spices corner, you see a whole lot of these spices. Some from within here, and some from the Orientals. What other things are you supposed to do? Exercises. Exercises. Prof talked about it, and all the speakers who have spoken today talked about it. Some of our professors who talked after Prof, it actually looks as if they discovered it accidentally, but all have said that it helped them a whole lot. Exercises. Okay, you are supposed to take 8,000 steps daily to be adequately exercised. 8,000 steps daily is about 1.5 hours of walk. Now, because we are busy executives, we may not have the time to do all that. Why not just do at least like 50 to 60 minutes? I like what the Professor Folabi said. She said every day she makes sure she does 60 minutes of walking daily. I mean, what that thing will do for you, I can't begin to explain it. If you're here and you are suffering some of these things, just today begin to walk. By 1 week's time, 2 weeks' time, come and tell us what it has done for you. It's amazing. It's amazing. Exercising, not jogging, exercising. And if you can make it brisk, so you can sweat. When you exercise, about five things happen. You burn calories, you sweat. In other words, you detoxify more, and then blood circulates around your body. Blood circulates around your body, and even lymph also circulates around your body. So exercise, very, very important. And usually I would recommend for people, if you can, do it twice a day. In other words, do like 30 minutes in the morning and do like another 30 minutes at night. Okay, that night one is amazing, especially if you are battling insomnia. When you have eaten around 6:37, if you can, don't eat later than 6:30, and then don't eat too heavy. You eat a bowl of oats that is not too heavy. Oats is light. Okay, and if you can afford it, and you are here, I think you should, but at this stage, you should do away with things like eba. Go for all these other whole grains, millet, guinea corn, blend it, turn it, use it to turn your food, okay, and all that, or oats, top of the range, okay. So when you have eaten all that, take a walk. Take a walk. If you're also battling diabetes, it works like literally almost like magic. When you have eaten your food 6:37, take a walk for around 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then you see how your blood sugar will behave by the time it is morning. Also, if you can do massage therapies, if you can do regular massages, if somebody in your house is there to help you, or you can visit the massage salons maybe once a week, it helps. Massage helps with transmission of lymph in our body. Much of the pain and the pain and the drag that we experience in the body is because the lymphatic system, which does not have a pump. They don't have a pump. This blood circulatory system has a pump, okay, and that's the heart. But the lymphatic system does not have a pump. So it is movement that moves it around. So many people, part of what they are dealing with is stasis of the lymphatic system. So if you do massage, or you get a massage device, you can get the ones that they stand on, that you stand on, and then it massages you, or you get this natural massage device and then massage different parts of your body. I mean, some of these things come in from China, they are available. Also, avoid and manage stress. Rest a lot. Prof talked about delegation. It's important. Recently, a client came to me, and she came with hypertension. But when I began to talk to her, I found out that was not the issue. She was there with her husband. And I said, Madam, I've listened for like 10 minutes now, what else you have spoken. And I think you are dealing with anxiety and depression. And I think it's secondary to extreme stress. The husband just got doctor tell her. And so we sat down and focused on that. We found that the woman lives in a big house, about 8 rooms, has like 4 domestic staff. but she ends up doing everything. When they wash, she will rewash. When they clean, she will reclean. Okay, and she's just been taken apart. Your body may have been able to carry it when you're in your 30s. Where you are right now, you cannot afford that. So you need to know how to delegate, so you can find time to rest and rest your body and rest your mind. It's so very important. Getting involved with some form of recreation or the other. Prof talked about yoga or some other forms of recreation and relaxation techniques. It's so very important. What makes you happy? Some of us work from Sunday to Monday. Sunday to Monday, we have forgotten how to recreate. We have forgotten how to just relax. It's so very important. Drink 2 to 3 liters of water daily. 2 to 3 liters of water daily. Okay, and then if it is alkaline water, it is better. Latana water is alkaline water, and there's also Natesian water, which is an alkaline kind of water. There are some of these flags that also make the alkalize the water. You can get it. Now, for vaginal dryness, you can use vitamin E cream. Okay, some of our speakers have suggested lubricants. You can use that, or you can also use vitamin E cream, the one without fragrance, or you take vitamin E soft gels and cut it, and then you use the oil and then you apply it intravagina. Okay, supplements are coming very well. I was excited when the doctor, I'm sorry, I didn't pick the name when they introduced that, was talking about, she kept talking about supplement, that she's on Perfectil, for instance, skin nails and something, and that she's been on it for several years or something like that. Supplements are wonderful. Many of the things that befall our body, and our body is not able to manage it, as we are growing old, is because some of the things that the body should use to fight them have become depleted. I'm talking about nutrients. The body can fight for itself. It can make its own case. However, when it doesn't have the tools to fight for itself or to repair itself, that's when the body begins to be stranded. Menopause is a natural occurrence. It's not a disease. Being natural, our body is supposed, the way the master, the creator created our body is supposed to be able to handle it. However, uh, before we get to that age, many of us have burnt out. Stress has increased in our, as generations are passing, stress is increasing. People are doing a whole lot of things. Okay, we are putting a whole lot of poisons and bad food into our bodies, bad foods that our parents didn't use before. So our body's stamina, immunity, power to defend itself is reducing with each passing day. So if you go in the supplement way, helps a whole lot. Few supplements you can take. Coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10, it's by the time we are aging, our mitochondria, the mitochondria is the energy production center in the cell. It begins to slow down. The mitochondria begins to slow down. Okay, that's why around midlife or around menopause, both for men and women, the people begin to be round, people begin to add weight and all that, because the power of the body to burn calorie is reducing. The power of the body to burn calorie is reducing. One of the speakers talked about green tea. That's the power. That's the magic of green tea. Actually, it quickens your mitochondria again. Ubiquin also does that. I mean, coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 also quickens your mitochondria, and it helps it to begin to. So your cells become more active. They drain more. They're able to do more things, and then you begin to restore to normalcy. There's another supplement that is very helpful in dealing with DHEA for short, DHEA. And enhances sexual drive. It increases memory and enhances sexual drive. It increases memory and enhances sexual drive. That's the dihydroepiandrosterone. Essential fatty acids also help. Evening primrose helps, and then fish oil. Fish oil also helps. All right, and then lecithin granules. Lecithin granules help it's an emulsifier. They help to emulsify the fats that escape into your bloodstream, so that your body can digest them. So your body can excrete them. Lecithin granule, lecithin capsules can also help. And then multi-enzyme complex. By that I mean a good multivitamin. That our doctor talked about Perfectil. There are several other ones. You can use. You can use coenzyme, not coenzyme, Centrum. You can use Centrum Silver, Centrum Gold. They have them like that. You can use Well Woman. I think there's also Well Woman for the particular age where menstruation begins to cease, where menopause begins to set in. Okay, whichever one it is you choose. By the time you are 35 or 40, you should be on a good multi-enzyme and multivitamin complex. It's so very important. You can also explore use of Reload. Soya protein, taking about 30 grams of it daily. Soya powder. It's also very good. Soya powder, like I said, also it contains phytoestrogens, plant-based estrogens that can show up your estrogen, and the estrogen it contains is good estrogen. Is good estrogen, okay, not bad one, okay. And then also vitamin B complex, especially if you add like vitamin B5. Vitamin B5 is pantothenic acid. It's very good for the skins and for the nails and for the hair. Pantothenic acid. So vitamin B complex with extra vitamin B5 and vitamin B6. B6 is very good for nervous balance. It's very good for nervous balance. Vitamin E is also very good. Vitamin E is also very good. It helps with hot flashes mainly, vitamin E. And then calcium and magnesium. Magnesium is a wonderful relaxant. I was talking earlier that if you are dealing with insomnia, just eat early, take a walk, come back, have a good shower, and just take some of your supplements. If you are on magnesium or cal mag, take it at night and sleep, and see whether you will not be able to sleep or not. It's amazing. You can't get addicted to it. It's a natural relaxant. Sometimes we are afraid of taking supplements. These things are things that should be in the foods we are eating. Alas, we are not either eating enough of them, or because more of the foods we eat these days are dead food, or our body is not able to absorb them that like it used to absorb it when we're in our youthful ages, and then we have become depleted of them. Zinc is very good. Zinc aids in reducing bone loss. Zinc, it aids in reducing bone loss. All right, and then also vitamin C. Any day, anytime, of antioxidants. It's also very good. It helps to fight hot flashes. There are some herbs that are very good for memory, because somebody asked a question about memory. There are two herbs that are very good. Rosemary and sage are good for memory, and these are spices actually. Rosemary, you can pick it off the shelf in any supermarket. It's a spice if you are eating it regularly. And then if you go into some pharmacies, you over the counter, you can see some supplements of them. Okay, aloe vera gel can be used as a lubricant in relieving vaginal itching and dryness. Okay, and then Prof talked about black cohosh, fennel, sage, and there's another herb called wild yam root. These are supplements you can pick in any pharmacy. Any pharmacy what is sold, if they don't have it there, they can send it. They can help you to source it. Wild yam root. Wild yam root contains vites. I saw it on Prof's slide, and then it helps they are natural estrogen promoters. They help your body to promote estrogen. Damiana enhances sexual drive and libido. Damiana enhances sexual drive and libido. And there are many carminatives, many of them that you can use. Valerian root is there. St. John's wort is there. Prof talked about it. St. John's wort. These are calmers. They are mood stabilizers. Valerian roots. Yes. And valerian root is there. chamomile is there. I've seen chamomile on a lot of supermarket shelves. Chamomile tea, chamomile. It's there. You can pick it up. You take it at night. It helps you relax and sleep well. Okay. And there's also kava, and I've talked about magnesium. All right. So these are some of the things you can do. I've talked about rosemary and that. And let me just say this lastly. Sleep is very important. It's so very important. That's why you have to invest in your sleep, invest in your bedroom, get a small generator that will not be disturbing your neighbor, so that you can run the fans or get all these alternative light sources that will run the fans at night, run the ACs at night, and all that, so that if you sleep well, because sleep is therapeutic. Once it is causing you insomnia and you are not sleeping, before you know it, it will tip you into depression. Okay, so fight for your sleep time. Okay, go to bed early, do exercise, and then you take your magnesium, and then try to get a good sleep. Make your bed comfortable, and then just believe God. So one last thing, it's important. Don't allow symptoms and signs of menopause to cause you to become inactive. It's so very important. Don't allow it to cause you to become inactive. Okay, because when you become inactive, those signs and symptoms will become exaggerated. Okay, they will become the only things you are thinking about. But if you are still going about your work, doing about your things, even if you are retired, find some other light things to be doing to keep you very busy. Thank you so very much. I'll stop here so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chris. Wow,
Yeah.
despite the fact that so many people have spoken, you still came in with your own unique approach.
Yes.
And it's a very loaded presentation. Because we are so short of time, I would rather give my summary to question time, because there's a whole lot of questions that has been asked. So, sir, please, as brief as possible, please, let's try and cover more questions. So the first one says,
Okay.
can we be taking multi-enzyme complex from age 40, even
Oh,
when we are
yes.
not having menopause symptoms?
Yes, you can be taking it. Yes,
Which
even
herb?
from before age 40.
Okay, sir. So another one says, which herb is good for hair loss?
Hair loss, Perfectil is good. Perfectil is a multi-enzyme complex. It contains a whole lot of them that help your hair. Perfectil is very good for hair, skin, and nails. Yes.
So another says, please, which of these are organic supplements? So I think it just went through all the supplements that you mentioned and is trying to ask which of them are organic supplements.
All the ones I called, especially not the branded ones, are organic. Some of us, the ones that I mentioned, things like Perfectil and Centrum, those are natural supplements, not organic. There's a difference between organic and supplements. Organic mostly contains just about 10% of the organic things. And then, naturals contain about 10% of the things, and then of the natural things. And then the organic contains just about 30%. That's the difference. So all of them end up containing some synthetic things. Okay. But if you just go on what's that place where they buy things on the internet, and you just type in, for instance, organic magnesium products, it will bring it out for you, and you can order them. Or you go into your pharmacy and ask for them, and they will help you choose them. If it's organic, you will see it written organic. Yes.
Someone says, can menopause cause goiter and heart issues?
Yes, it can cause heart issues. It will not cause goiter, but the same things that are led to it cannot cause goiter, but it can occur alongside goiter. It can occur alongside goiter. That's why I talked about eating of herbs, and then also being some kind of healthy supplements. You can be on, if you are having issues with, that's why you must do tests regularly, at least do it twice a year. Let them do comprehensive tests for you. They will tell you what the iodine levels in your body is, what all these other elements that we talked about, what their levels in your body, and then you know which one you need to begin to show up.
Thank you very much, sir. Another question says, is it true that those that started their period late reaches menopause earlier than those that started early?
That is not true. That's not true. There's no serious correlation between those two events.
Another question says, what are the chances of becoming pregnant with irregular periods from age 48?
I will not be able to say put a percentage to it, but it's possible. It's possible. People have become pregnant even in their 50s and in their 60s. But if you're afraid of becoming pregnant, just make sure from the date, your day 10 to maybe about day 16, 17, you stay off sex. Then there's no way pregnancy can jump on you if you don't get involved with sex between day 10 and day 16, 17 of your cycle.
Oh, okay. So I have one more question. My hot flashes is so bad, and I also have night sweats. What can I do to stop it? It started about a year and a half ago.
Be on magnesium, be on vitamin E, be on vitamin A. Work on your increasing be on vitamin D, and then chamomile tea, get it, and then do some of the other things we talked about as per dietary predilections. Do them, and then you do well. Take to exercising, eat early, take a walk. Don't jog, just take a walk. 20 minutes full, 20 minutes come, have a hot bath or a cold bath, and then you'll do well. Yes.
So, sir, these last two questions, I'm going to take them together. The first one says,
right,
how many years does symptoms of menopause last? And the second says, my stomach used to be flat, but now big. Is it part of menopause?
Yes, it is. It's part of it. It's part of the weight gain. Some people will gain weight generally. Some people will gain weight around their waist, and then they may also be bloating. Okay, so what to do about the weight gain is do your exercises, but also about your stomach that is big also is do your exercises, but do sit-ups, sit-up exercises. Somebody is holding your leg, you lie down, you sit up, you lie down, you sit down, you sit up, do it regularly, and then that will firm up your abdominal muscles. The first question, can you help me again with the first part of the question?
How many years does symptoms of menopause last?
For some persons, between 5 years, they are free from it. Some other persons, it's 10 years, and for some other persons, it's 15 years. It depends. But by and large, if you do all those things we talked about, whether it lasts for shorter or longer time, you'll be able to cope. You'll be able to cope with it if you correct your diet and your lifestyle.
Thank you very much, sir. It seems these women don't want you to go because they're just adding more questions for you. So
yes.
I'm going to be a bit biased and quickly take this one more question. It says actually two, but I think one.
Dr. Bayo, just a minute before you do that. Dr. Bayo, ma.
Okay, ma.
Please, Dr. Chris Williams, please, can you drop your email and phone number, the screen now, so that people can continue with their questions, sir?
Okay, thank you. I prefer my phone number. I prefer the phone number, especially WhatsApp. Okay, that's where I play more. Contact me on WhatsApp and 080 33 080 236398. 33236398. Just send me a message by WhatsApp. Even if I don't get to reply you before the end of this, somehow I will still reply you before it's 24 hours somehow.
Thank you. Dr. Bayo, over to you, ma.
Okay, sir. So the question says, somebody says, I don't understand what hot flashes mean. Please.
Okay, hot flashes is simple. You just sit down. When you are perimenopausal, you just sit down, and then all of a sudden your body begins to begin to feel hot. For most persons, it starts from around the abdomen, and it looks like heat is just spreading up all through your body. It's spreading up, it's spreading down, and in few minutes you break it. You are so hot, and you break into sweat, and then in few minutes also it disappears and you return to normal. That is hot flashes.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
ma.
so
Thank you, ma.
much
I
for
appreciate this privilege. Thank you.
thank you so much for stressing the plant-based diet. Thank you. We can't thank you
Yes.
enough. And we hope that
Yes.
when next we have other discussions like this or something similar, you would be able to come and grace the occasion again. Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time, and we wish you a
Thank you.
lovely day. Over to
Thank
you,
you.
Dr.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Bayo and Dr. Chris Williams. Wow, you can agree with me. There has never been a dull moment. All our participants are still glued. Thank you. In fact, I have to give way for the vote of thanks because I'm sure many people's battery are running out and so on and so forth. But we must acknowledge the presence of Professor Gloria Ayola. She has been here with us, professor in pharmaceutical chemistry, faculty of pharmacy, Professor Olu Simbo Abuaba, professor of industrial food microbiology, to mention but a few. We really appreciate you. Thank you for staying this far with us. I want to hand over to the local organizing chairperson in the person of Dr. Swala to wrap up this webinar. I am so excited. Dr. Oswala, you have the floor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we
Please wrap.
can.
Thank you so much. I've never been so engrossed in a webinar as I have been today. And this is the first webinar I've seen that a lot of people have really put in so much of their time, and we really appreciate you all. My heart goes out to the Vice President of OWSD Africa Region, Professor Olubukola Babalola, for gracing this webinar and other webinars that we have conducted. She has always been with us and encouraging us to upgrade the girl child. Thank you very much, ma. We highly appreciate you. My heart also goes out to other representatives of the Vice Chancellor, and we thank you all for coming. We also want to thank you a billion times, Dr. Professor Joy Opuzo, the coordinator of the OWSD Lagos branch, for galvanizing all members of the OWS in Lagos and initiating critical activities that has been of benefit to the girl child and the society as a whole. So thank you very much. Unquantifiable appreciation goes to our distinguished speakers. We know we can never pay you for the knowledge and expose that you have given us today, but God will surely reward you all. Our professors, Professor Rosemary Agoma, for sharing her experience without constricting any idea, we are truly thankful. Professor Bosede Afolabi, we thank you so much. Dr. Chris Isioma Williams, the only man as the panelist, we are very grateful. You approached it from all sides. Thank you so much. Dr. Beatrice Ogana, we're also very thankful, and Mrs. Oluwatoyi C. Abodiri. Thank you so much. A laudable thanks also goes to our competent moderators. Some of them were wrapping up the lecture as if they are going for an exam. All A's to you. So I thank you, Dr. Bayo, Dr. Edward Keze, and Dr. Margaret. So much thanks. We couldn't have picked a more competent moderators like you guys. You have been wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you also to Mrs. Toyin Arowolu, the IC consultant, for graciously granting us access to this webinar package. She has been so good. She has been following us up. We just love you. Thank you. And God bless you abundantly. More thanks also goes to the local organizing committee. We call on Dr. Kainde Kemabonta. She actually conceptualized this idea. I could remember the day she was driving and she was just talking about it. And we thought it was a joke, but today it's like something else. Dr. Kemabonta, your voice will always be heard everywhere and your ideas will never cease. We appreciate you. We also appreciate Dr. Oyemi Toyin, Dr. Onimia Temitokwe, Dr. Udwekeze Cordelia, Dr. Abdul Wahab Khadijat, Dr. Bayo, and myself, Dr. Uswala. I thank myself for putting up this webinar with all the distractions we had. It was just the grace of God that we're able to, and I thank you all. We'll not forget our dearly beloved OWSD executives for championing this cause, as well as the OWSD members of Lagos branch for all your support. As we go, you go, and we thank you. A big thank you to you. Lastly, our thanks resounds to all the participants. Without you, there is no webinar. You are the reason we are here. And we thank you for holding on from the beginning to the very end. May you be blessed abundantly in Jesus' name. So God bless you all. God bless OWSD. God bless Nigeria. Thank you for attending this webinar. And you can always consult with the speakers. They are very open to any kind of questions you have. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Amen.
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 Amen. Thank you very much, Dr. Suala Fidelia. Is also an opportunity to work with you, the local organizing chairperson for this webinar. Now we started with a prayer, so we end with a prayer. I don't know if we have any Muslim in the house to help us with prayer, but before then, let's just listen briefly from Dr. Amaka Jurokweze for the membership drive. Dr. Cordelia.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Alaribe. I will actually focus on how to join OWSD, since Dr. Desalu, our able secretary, has put us through on whom we are and what we are. So basically, we have 3 categories: the local branch, we have the local branch. To become a member of the local branch, you need to contact the secretariat. For us in Lagos chapter, we have the registration fee of 2,000 naira, which is payable just once. Then the annual membership fee of 1,000 naira. The said amount is paid to the OWSD branch account. Then the local branch compiles the names of the newly registered members, and through the zonal coordinator submits to the national level. The zonal coordinator is in the person, Dr. Felicia Ejia. So she takes the names of the newly registered member and submits at the national level. So it's like automatically when you're a local branch member, you are also a national level member. Then for international membership, the membership registration is done online. So I will give us the website. You click on ows.net, ows.net. Then you click on become a member button. Then you fill in the online membership application form. There is a step-by-step guideline. Just follow the step-by-step guideline and register. In case you're unable to register due to some unforeseen circumstances, you can send an email to membership@owsd.net, membership@owsd.net. For international membership registration, you're required to upload your highest degree certificate. It is required. You're required to upload your highest degree certificate. But please, I want us to note that while uploading your certificate, you must make sure that the name you have on your certificate matches with the name on that is the name that you've registered with. You know, some of us must have a change of name. So if you have a change of name, you must upload an official document as an evidence to that. Once that is done, then you will get email from the international and follow their correspondences. Thank you very much. Dr. Larry, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Cordelia. Thank you very much. Please, you can stream this on YouTube, OWSD Lagos. Just go there and you'll be able to stream after this presentation. Please permit me to welcome Dr. Odesalu. Hello.
Hello, Dr. Alaribe. Hello?
Yes, ma. Dr. Fidelia,
yes,
you have...
Please, just give me 1 minute. I beg you. I really need to, first of all, apologize to Dr. Alaribe. I just looked at my list. You know, sometimes, most of the time, you see people who do the main work. They are at the background, but actually, they are the ones doing the real work. Dr. Alaribe, Stephanie, Dr. Alaribe, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. I remember late nights around 11, 12, we were still working. Very tireless and dutiful. Thank you, Dr. Alaribe. Thank you so much. Without you, welcome. I wouldn't have made it here. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma. Good to work with you. Many thanks. Dr. Abosede Desalu, please, ma, close this webinar for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alaribe. Dr. Oswala, let me quickly say here that even if you don't recognize Dr. Alaribe on this platform, she's a woman with a large heart. If you say you miss acknowledging her, she will not sue you for that. That is Dr. Alaribe for you. Dr. Alaribe, thank you once again for all the efforts that you have put in for this webinar.
My pleasure.
Now, thank God that we conceived this idea, and we thank God that it has come to reality. We thank God for the opportunities that He has given us, and we thank Him for all our panelists. We thank God for the lecture that we've had today and the lessons that we've learned. And we pray that it will be used for us and not against us in the day of questioning. We pray for forgiveness and pray for wisdom, strength, and understanding within OWSD worldwide. We thank God for our president. We thank God for the executive of all members of this association. As we are closing this event today, we pray that all of us will meet again next year in peace and not in pieces. Happy holidays, everybody. Enjoy your holiday.
Happy holidays.
Keep long distance. Please stay safe. COVID is real.
Just hold on,
love you for
just hold
us.
on. We want to take.
We love you. Bye
Please,
bye.
ma, just hold on.
Okay.
Just hold on, everyone. Please, we want to take pictures. Toyi, are you ready for us?
Okay, I'm here.
Please just show your face.
While we are taking the pictures, we record the presence of Ego Bode Okonkwo from NISPRI. We thank you, ma, for being with us. Thank you so much.
Dr. Swala, well done.
Yes, ma'am.
Please put on your camera. Please, Dr. Desaluma, remove your nose.
I'm in the office.
and sit straight.
Hey, Dr. Anumiya, good to see you. Have you landed? Woo! Please forward our things. Good to see everyone. Yes. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, please, Toyi, go ahead, ma.
She said, all done.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Don't let us waste our smiles.
Abby.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
I
menopause
appreciate
are
you
not
all.
scary again.
Everybody, God bless you.
Thank you,
Beautiful
everyone.
one.